Today I had an opportunity to take a look at the iPhone 3G, and we'll just run through a couple of the pictures here that I took of the phone. You can see it's very similar to the iPod Touch. Very similar size and shape. I think it's just a tad bigger. Sorry, I'm trying to do this on the camera. It's not easy. There we go. The dial pad was really nice. I just decided to press random numbers just to see how it would do. And this thing just went on and on and on and on. I didn't think it was going to stop. Whereas with the Voyager, it stops after about 64 characters or so. And here is your messaging. And it displays very similar to an iChat conversation for those of you who are Mac users. And for those of you who are not, essentially what happens is you have some word bubbles that come up, but kind of like a comic book almost. So anyway, those are my pictures of the iPhone 3G, so if any of you ask, well, why don't you have the unit yourself, that's as close as you're going to get, because I do not have a need for the iPhone 3G at this time. I am currently on Verizon's network, and I am locked into a contract until December of next year, and I do not have the need at this time to switch. Plus, I have an iPod Touch, and there really isn't an awful lot that you miss out on if you have an iPod Touch if you do not already have the iPhone 3G. Let's take a look at some notes that I wrote. As I said, it is excuse me, I can't speak. It is exactly like the iPhone, like the second generation iPod Touch. It is just like the second generation iPod Touch, except it has a GSM phone, a camera, and an SMS texting function. And those you have already seen. The only thing I did not get the chance to show you was the camera, because I just felt that would be kind of weird to take a picture of the stand that it was sitting on. Ringtones are really interesting. A lot of people say that they stink. I don't think so. It sounds to me like they've been pulled from iMovie HD, and I think that's really cool. For those of you who are unaware of it, iMovie HD does have a number of sound effects. If you go into audio and play around with them, you'll be able to see a number of them, and those are preloaded onto the iPhone as ringtones and text, and you can also use it for text alerts. Let's see. The camera was decent. The picture quality was, I would say, acceptable. It's sort of eh. I mean, it's not bad, but it's far from fantastic. I don't know what the megapixels are on the iPhone. I think maybe 2, so it's about the same level as this one. Let's see. The last one kind of baffled me, which was that in case you couldn't tell in the pictures, instead of AT&T it said no service. I can't remember if Apple had lifted the whole ban on activating the iPhone yourself, because it was clear this particular demonstration unit did not have a SIM card in it, and it was not activated. But overall, I would say 9 out of 10. Oops. Excuse me. Now, why 9 out of 10? The big thing has to do with the battery life. Pardon. The battery life, from what I've heard, it won't last even a day. That came from Walt Mossberg, and I trust his reviews. He seems to know what he's doing. So, whenever I hear it from his mouth, I'm inclined to believe it. This particular iPhone was plugged in, as you could see, and I couldn't unplug it to test the battery because if I did, a security alarm would have gone off. I think. I didn't want to take a chance. Anyway, yeah, the battery life on the iPhone 3G, from what I've heard, it's not all that great. Plus, obviously, I'm not on AT&T, so I can't use it. And the third item is that since I already have an iPod Touch, I didn't really feel a need for it. If Apple were to give us a program where if you have an iPod Touch, they will give you a discount on the iPhone, maybe next year I might consider it if I can convince one of my relatives to switch us over to AT&T. We're on the family plan with Verizon. You know, then maybe. But the thing is, I mean, I already have an iPod Touch, and it's just like the iPhone without the phone. Without the phone, the texting, and the camera. So, in a way, it sounds like you don't really miss out on an awful lot if you have an iPod Touch, if you do not have an iPhone. Now, if you have neither and you're on AT&T, then yeah, go ahead and get the iPhone 3G. But if you're not on AT&T and you want the closest thing, I can guarantee you an iPod Touch, particularly the new one with the built-in speakers and the volume control especially, that's going to be as close as you're going to get to the new iPhone 3G. So that's why I gave it 9 out of 10. Would I recommend it? Yes, I would. Would I personally buy it? Not at the moment. I might maybe sometime in the future if they have an iPhone 4G, because by then I'll probably have incentive to, but right now I don't have a need for it. So it's a fun little gadget, but like I said, I already have an iPod Touch, I already have a contract with Verizon, and we are locked in until December of next year. It's the family plan, so I can't just hop out. Plus, I'm quite satisfied with the phone that I have right now. I mean, it makes calls, takes good pictures, and, you know, gets all my texting in order, and that's what I care about. And the reason about texting, again, I consider it as a backup communication method. And with the camera, it's only because I don't have a digital camera of my own. I might want to get one of these days. Anyway, iPhone 3G, 9 out of 10. And that's pretty much all I have to say about it. Comments and questions are welcome. Thank you for watching, and have a nice evening.